Okay, let's just get right into it. Getting your power turned on in Austin might seem like, just another simple little checkbox on your moving to-do list. But honestly, it literally dictates exactly how your first few days in your new home are going to go. So let's make sure you avoid the common pitfalls and get this set up flawlessly in this explainer. Seriously, imagine this. It is a completely blistering Texas afternoon. You are hauling a heavy couch up 3 flights of stairs, you're totally exhausted, and you finally unlock your door. You reach for the thermostat, and absolutely nothing. The AC won't turn on, the lights are dead. You, my friend, just fell into the dreaded move-in trap. We've actually seen stories in our sources of people literally having to sleep in hotels on their first night, all because they just assumed setting up electricity was an instant, same-day process. No way. So to prevent that absolute nightmare of a scenario, we've structured this explainer as a chronological survival guide. We're going to cover avoiding the move-in trap, your prep and application process, account setup and budgeting, timelines and troubleshooting, going green in Austin, and finally, some final tips and our disclaimer.
All right, Section 1, Avoiding the Move-in Trap.
So getting to the root of why so many people get so confused when setting up utilities in the capital of Texas really starts with the market itself. The single biggest misconception newcomers have is just how this market actually works. According to the Public Utility Commission of Texas, roughly 85% of the state's residents live in a deregulated market. That means they're used to shopping around, comparing a bunch of plans, and picking a provider. But Austin opted out of deregulation entirely. That means for these addresses, Austin Energy is your one and only option. There are no plans to compare, no private companies to research. You are going straight to the city.
Moving on to Section 2, Preparation and Application Process. Because Austin Energy is a municipal utility, you've got to know their requirements are highly specific. The crucial point here is knowing exactly what you need before you even attempt to start your service. You're going to need to gather a government-issued ID, a social security number, which is for a credit check, and your exact move-in date. But hey, pay really special attention to this next critical step, exact address verification. If you're moving into a multi-unit complex, maybe a newly built subdivision or a duplex, you absolutely should verify your exact address format using the City of Austin Property Profile tool. If your address doesn't perfectly match their system, it can significantly delay your service activation, and nobody wants that.
Now, once those documents are all ready to go, you essentially have 3 application avenues. You can apply in person, at a walk-in center, over the phone, or online. But listen, I highly recommend using the online portal at koiutilities.com. Our sources explicitly note that during peak moving seasons, think August, September, or late December, phone wait times can easily exceed 45 minutes. Yeah, online setup is for sure your fastest and most efficient route.
Let's jump to Section 3, Account Setup and Budgeting.
Okay, let's see how all this builds into the financials. Specifically, we really need to talk about the dreaded security deposit, because this catches so many renters and new homeowners completely off guard. When you apply, Austin Energy runs a credit check, and that dictates your immediate out-of-pocket costs based on these specific tiers. If your credit score is 650 or higher, great news, the deposit is usually waived automatically. If you're hovering in that 600 to 649 range, it might trigger a deposit, but there are ways around it. Now, if you're below 600, or if you're a first-time renter with no credit history, a deposit is almost certainly going to be required. And if you do fall into those lower tiers, you are generally looking at a standard residential deposit of $200. But don't panic. It is important to note that you actually don't have to pay this upfront before they turn the lights on. Rather, this $200 fee is just assessed on your first month's bill at your new service address. And fortunately, there are some pretty strategic ways to just waive this fee entirely. You can often instantly waive it right during online registration, simply by enrolling in both autopay and paperless billing, which they call e-bill. But just a quick word to the wise here, you absolutely must keep both of these active for 12 consecutive billing cycles, otherwise they might retroactively charge you. Alternatively, you can also waive it if you happen to be 65 or older, active military, or if you can provide a letter of good standing from a previous utility company. Beyond that initial deposit, it's really vital to budget for Austin Energy's specific billing style. They use what's called a tiered rate structure. So, simply put, this means the more power you use, the more expensive each individual unit becomes. It's totally designed to encourage conservation. Plus, your bill inherently includes monthly fuel charges, and those fluctuate based on natural gas prices and overall power demand. So, what does this actually mean for you? Well, even if you use the exact same amount of electricity in December as you do in July, your bill is going to look different. It's just how municipal utilities operate.
All right, Section 4, Timelines and Troubleshooting.
So this right here is where most people make that fatal error we talked about at the very beginning of this explainer. Same-day setup is never guaranteed. I repeat, never guaranteed. If there's a verification issue or a deposit hold, your application gets delayed. Furthermore, Austin Energy does not activate accounts on weekends or municipal holidays, period. So if your lease starts on a Saturday, you absolutely must schedule your service to start on Friday. The golden rule you need to remember here is to initiate your service request 5 to 7 days before your move-in date. If you show up on move-in day with no power, a lot of apartment complexes in Austin simply won't even hand over your keys.
Now, once you are successfully activated and fully moved in, you've got to prepare for the unexpected. While ice and snow aren't exactly everyday occurrences in Austin, they definitely do happen, and power lines absolutely can be affected. So immediately register for text message outage alerts. Just text REG to 287846. It's this fantastic two-way communication system that sends estimated restoration times and crew statuses right to your phone. Super helpful.
Next up, Section 5, Going Green in Austin. Because Austin Energy is a city department, they actually offer some really unique incentives that you just won't find in those deregulated markets. You can totally leverage these municipal programs to lower your bills and live a bit more sustainably. For example, if you're moving into a house that's older than 10 years, you've got to look into the home performance with Energy Star program. Austin Energy offers these massive rebates. We're talking an average of around $2,550 and even 0% financing options for whole home energy upgrades. This covers things like sealing leaky ducts, adding attic insulation, and upgrading your HVAC unit. It's a game changer that makes your home way more comfortable and significantly cuts down those brutal summer energy bills. You can also drastically reduce your year-round utility bill by paying attention to this brilliant little life hack called wastewater averaging. Since electricity and water are built together by the city of Austin, this is incredibly crucial to know. From mid-November all the way through March, Austin Water actually calculates your wastewater average based on your clean water use. To lock in the absolute lowest possible fixed monthly wastewater fee for the entire next year, make absolutely sure to turn off your outdoor irrigation systems and fix any of those leaky faucets during these winter months.
Okay, bringing it home with Section 6, Final Tips and Disclaimer.
As we wrap up this explainer, you really do have the knowledge now to avoid that move-in trap, navigate the deposits, and optimize your monthly budget so you take complete control of your move. But before we officially finish, I do have to throw in this really important note. Utility processes, fee structures, and deposit requirements can, and honestly, do change over time. So while this guide is incredibly comprehensive based on current data, municipal policies do shift. Always double-check all information, current rates, and official policies directly through official City of Austin channels. You can do that primarily by visiting coaustinutilities.com or just giving their customer care team a quick call.
Now that you know exactly how to avoid the move-in trap and set up your service flawlessly, the power is quite literally in your hands. You've got the tools to get connected on time, manage your deposits without breaking a sweat, and even tap into those amazing green energy rebates. So the only question left for you is, how will you optimize your own energy usage in your new Austin home? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and here is to a very smooth, very air-conditioned move-in day.